We have came to the end of what feels like the longest season in my MFL career so far. Season 4 was full of ups and downs and twists and turns, and we tried to find some interesting solutions to some very difficult squad management problems. And in the video today, we'll go through the tale of the tape. How did Season 4 finish up for FC Barcelona? Did we capture promotion? Did we continue to swing it with the big teams in the league? And ultimately, how does it kind of sit at the moment? But now, as I record this video, Season 4's ended. We're in that transition period, getting ready for Season 5. We've had the rewards come out, rollover date is imminent, playoffs are on the go at the moment, and FC Barcelona has been in the transfer market, and we have been breaking transfer record after transfer record, smashing out those Disney dollars all across the marketplace. If you don't know what I mean when I say Disney dollars, there's a video linked in the description of the video and at the end of this one where you can get yourself a free but you can unlock $25 of Dapper credit by getting involved in a Disney project that we've got a refer a friend link to. So if you've missed out on that, don't. Make sure to catch it. I'll show you the players that I've brought in with my Disney dollars, as well as how I'm setting up the squad, how I'm setting up the agency going into Season 5 to make sure that we maximise all the assets at our disposal. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And if you are brand new to MFL and you haven't yet opened up your account, there's a link in the description of the video, it'll be pinned in the comments down below as well. They'll get you the best beginner bonuses available when you click on that link and sign up directly. By doing so, you do also support me and all the content here at the channel, and I thank you in advance if you do so. If you are brand new, this is probably not the video to start with. Again, linked in the description, I'll have all my beginner tutorial videos that will help you get up and running to open your account and make sure that you set the account up, as well as avoid all the beginner mistakes that can trap people basically into making some beginner mistakes that will then kind of, hold you back in your first season out there. So be sure to check out all the content. Please do click on the link in the description to support me and the content here. And of course, if you do get stuck, if you've got any questions, jump into the comment section and I'll come and help you out. Because I think one of the last matches that we spoke about here on the channel, we did a live watch along for on Go Fuck Friday, I'm pretty sure it was our top of the table clash against Castilla, where we ultimately did lose it 5-3, but as you can see the way the goals went in, they scored in the 86th and the 92nd minute to take it from being a 3-each draw, in which, this was a game where, we went punch for punch, goal for both teams all the way through this one. And this was, I'd built the squad and I was building the tactics and the momentum, trying to manage our energy levels and stuff like that, to try and culminate, to try and peak the squad, to take on Castilla, to try and make up for the points we dropped earlier this season, as well as our other return match against top of the table team FC Heat. And again, I'm not too this was on a Wednesday, we might have covered this on the channel, so forgive me if I did, but we drew 1 each. We went 1-0 up on the stroke of half time thanks to that man Hamad Al-Nasser. And again, at the death, the 91st minute, they pulled an equaliser. And both of those games, to get 1 point out of it, I was, okay, well, that was better than the last time I played them, but it really did remove the potential for me to finish into second or into first. That then meant the last little section of games was very similar to the opening section of the games I had at the beginning of the season against all of those teams that were ranked to be of a similar strength to myself. And those games at the beginning of the season, you guys will remember, were really hotly contested, very nip and tuck, a couple of draws and whatever. And with the mid-season signings we'd made of Coyote Udo and Candido Manzano here from Jimbo, I had hoped and I had thought that we would have enough different quality players to rotate in at different positions to make sure that after throwing all of our eggs into one basket, after really going hard at it against these top of the table teams, we would still be strong enough to maybe try out some different formations, as well as maybe rotate the squad where we had to, going into that difficult run of games. And as you can see, the first game that we had after this, we played against Edinburgh Pirates, and I changed the dynamic. We went 4-3-3, we took out the defensive midfielder, and we basically turned it into 2 wingers supporting the lone striker. And I still, looking at this, cannot believe we did not score. Possession wasn't really there, XG was minimal, and I think this is a real lesson for me that playing with tactics that you've not really refined properly can very easily backfire. Although it's helped me get onto the pitch Prado, a 75 rated left winger, and Manzano, a 75 rated right winger, it just didn't add up really ultimately. I do kind of blame the midfield between Hosni and Tolentino. We don't have anyone with good defence or good physical, so I don't really think we got on the ball often enough and managed to find those guys in the forward areas. But this was a Scottish derby. The first game of the season was against Edinburgh Pirates. We got off to a great start and they got revenge on us, and sadly this game felt like the beginning of a very difficult run-in. I then played one of the worst teams in the league, and again, we went back to, this is not a formation or a tactics that was new to the club. This is our plan A, our very first formation that we used to play back in season 1, so we had tactics quite well set for it. We had to tweak some things for individuals and whatever. We put Hanka back into midfield because he can tackle and stuff as well, which is cool. And as you can see from this team, highly rotated, but sadly against one of the worst teams in the division, it finished as a 0-0 draw. Our XG was certainly high enough to find the back of the net, but sadly this guy's goalkeeper played the best game of the season for himself probably, and we never quite got it over the line. And after this draw, after losing to Edinburgh Pirates, it put massive pressure on the next match against Arabia FC, who were right in there, in that mix with me and Edinburgh Pirates and the Kansas City Comets or whatever they're called, as being like, it was a real nip and tuck who was going to get into third position. And they came to Firkin Garrison, our stadium, and they absolutely battered us. This guy Kamel was on fire. Honestly, this guy was an absolute whip. Everything he was doing was sensational. He looked like a real talent, and he tore us a new one. One of the worst games that Ritan had played for us. Absolutely smashed, absolutely hammered. We just about managed to get a consolation goal in this game at some point right at the bloody end, so they were absolutely trouncing us here. And after we lost this game, again, we went basically full strength into the next one against Kansas City Comets at home, and we lost again 1-0. XG, again, not really there for us, not really all singing and dancing, not firing on all cylinders. And this was really the final nail in the coffin. Third place was now firmly off the table. Had we won this game, we would have been 1 point ahead of Kansas City Comets with 2 games left to do in the run-in, and we could have maybe just about hung on. But them beating us just meant they leapfrogged us in the league and gained a significant points advantage. So this was really the final nail in the coffin, sadly. But there was still the potential that we could have came back if Kansas City had dropped some points and we got maximum points from the last 2 games. There was still a mathematical hope, but we had our return match against Hags Vodbo School. They got a man sent off. It ended up being a 2-1 win for them, sadly. And when they went a man down, we started throwing the kitchen sink at it. And to only score 1 goal against 10 men after going 2-0 down, again, a very bitterly disappointing result. Again, the XG was just about there, but we couldn't quite lace up the attack. We couldn't quite get it to go all singing and dancing the way we wanted it to. We then played, this Manzano played in 3 different positions for me, and watching the highlights, he looked good, but this guy missed, over these very important matches, at least 4 genuine sitters, BCMs, big chances missed for this guy. His shooting at 65 has cost me, to be honest with you. If I'd brought in a guy that had 70 shooting or a little bit better, we would have probably got promoted. So it's a bit of a sore one, sadly, that Manzano just bottled it, couldn't hit the back of the net with this one. And going into the last game of the season, I was just really down on my dump. I was just really down in the dumps after losing those games. We come into the last game, we're just really looking to save some pride, secure 4th, just to make sure we get some better MFL than finishing in 5th. And, we got the job done. A 2-0 win. Hamad Nasser doing his best to secure another golden boot for him. Coyote Udo finishing his FC Barcelona loan in style with 2 assists to finish off at the end here with another 8.2 rating. Manzano again in attacking midfield missed a couple of sitters. So sadly, we're going to have another season in the Iron Division. Now with Heat certainly getting promoted, Castilla, I would fancy them to do well in playoffs. They've got a very, very strong lineup. Kansas City, let's see how they get on. I'm not too bored, to be honest with you. Some of the better teams will be leaving this division. Now, some people will be getting relegated into this division from bronze, and we might have some teams getting promoted from ice that might go out into the transfer market and really reinforce their ranks. But I think we were good enough to get into the top 3 this year. It is a 7-point gap to Kansas City, but as you can see the way the results fell for us at the end here, we didn't quite have the strength and depth and the variety of quality options to just get it over the line, and that's the number 1 takeaway we've got here. Hamad Nasser, 27 goals this season in 22 league matches. I don't think he played all 22, obviously. Another golden boot for him is absolutely brilliant. Hosni, 1 assist, or maybe 2, depending on how you want to think of it, away from getting the Playmaker Award for this division, which is a sore one to miss out on for Tito. And Ritan wasn't too far away from a golden glove. I thought he was fantastic. I think the first half of the season, having that higher rated goalkeeper made such a huge difference, and it really did help us defensively. Second half of the season, of course, things went against us, and I do mainly blame the midfield construction for the issues that we had at the back end of the year. Now, the last video we did on the channel about MFL, where we're looking at the agency action that we had in Season 4, and now that we've had Reward Day, we've had the Payout Day, we can actually see how much MFL the club brought in, any lessons for me to take into Season 5, as well as showing you guys what it looks like at the end of the season. So, as you can see here, for our actual result, we finished with 8,540 MFL. Now, I gave away about 40% in rev share in equity in the result where we're going to do this year to the 5 or 6 loan players that we had. And Ritan, the goalkeeper, was on 12%. Hosni, the playmaker, was on 10%. And then we had like Manzano and Udo, Prado. These guys kind of all added up to around the 20 mark as well. So around 40% we gave away. We did manage to hit all the contract criteria. So Prado played his 15 games, etc., etc. So we didn't have any forfeit percentages to give away in the contracts for that. But that's a really low amount to take home, considering, you know, the division I'm in and all the rest of it. So I want to really minimise coming into this season how much MFL we give away in Season 5. And the number way of doing that, of course, is owning players. But as you can see, we did quite well with even Castano here, by the way. Castano didn't hit his contract, so we actually get 7% for him. So that was actually a nice wee chunk of MFL thanks to his participation here with PTHL. Herbst, the guy that we paid $50 for mid-season, who we couldn't get his contract cancelled, it actually brought us in 810 MFL, which is a significant portion of the overall MFL we brought in. Maybe cancels out a little bit of the MFL we gave away potentially. And then as you can see, a bunch of these are guys that are in ice and whatnot. We get some nominal values for the teams that have finished towards the bottom of the league. And then some of the guys that have finished a little bit higher or had more generous percentages, we've had just a little bit more on. Poveda had his clause kick in as well. He didn't play the matches required. Same as Thomas Muller, which we'd kind of expected, and that made his loan a bit more valuable, going up to essentially 250 MFL thanks to that. But as you can see, all these numbers are really small, you know, so loaning guys into ICE for 4, 5, 6% doesn't really add up to too much overall. But thankfully, some of the teams that we have loaned these players out to are on the verge of promotion, and some of them have already reached out to re-sign them for Season 5, namely the Leoverse, who we're going to be watching out for. Hopefully they can get promoted from ice into stone, and they want to use a few of our players next year to help them progress, and hopefully our players can progress, and hopefully we can pull in some more MFL as a result. And if we look at the cup contributions, I don't think there's anything crazy that we got from this. Quite small numbers for the most part. Leoverse, did they win the cup actually? They did. They won the cup all in. Yeah, winner. So we've got Abba and Quintana. Does that show on their player page now, I wonder? But no, the trophies are empty. I guess these are just for personal player trophies. I would like that to be updated so that you can see league titles, cup titles, etc. Not second and third position stuff, but like actual, you know, winning divisions, winning cups. I think that should appear here. I think that feels right. Feels like an opportunity missed. And although we know you're good at Abba and Quintana did contribute to Leoverse's cup win, you know, it's not really shown on our player profile. I'd like that to have been seen. And again, the MFL that we caught from that win cup that Toby got was actually a nice wee chunk of change. So thanks very much for that. And then we're back to the development centre guys that we put in mid-season. So a nice wee chunk of MFL for the season. A huge part of it came from our own participation. We got quite fortunate with some of the clauses that got hit, like 500 extra for Castano, 250 extra. A first place win, by the way, for Valencia Digital. They won the league, so that's actually a chunky wee bit we got off of him. And Muller as well. That's about 1,000 MFL from those 3 guys who were not really that great. I loaned Castano out mid-season as well as Poveda. So they were mid-season loans that, you know, we didn't need for rotation the second half of the season. So that feels like as a strategy that actually that detail worked out quite nicely. Having guys in the first half of the season to play cup games, and then when we didn't progress in the cup, second half of the season, loan them out because we weren't going to rotate them in again. And with the introduction of the Spark League, there was a lot more demand, there was a lot more offers coming my way for so many of my lower rated players, which is the exact reason that the Spark division has been brought in, to make a nice little cheaper entry level for all those new players coming into the game, as well as giving utility and viability to the lower rated cards, which has been fun. But so I've already had a lot of guys go back into Ice. Ketchup FC came in and loaned 4 of my players. He actually loaned in 5. He wanted Zeller as well, the pre-contract. But Toby reached out to me and said I would use Zeller at left back, and he's probably, hopefully, getting promoted into Stone. And he's already got Quintana and Abba. already won the cup, and I know Toby now is a good manager. He's he's a good hustler, and I think he will do well with any of the players that I loan him into. So I was quite happy to cancel a pre-contract with Ketchup to let him go into Lilleverse. But that Ketchup was going to have 2 centre-backs of mine, a goalkeeper, a left-back, and a defensive midfielder. And I really like that because it means next year, obviously I've moved the left-back into Lilleverse, but that's 7 players I can keep a track of across 2 clubs. It just makes it a little bit easier. Cordoba is going back to Roost to Riches. Bustamante is going back to Team Diamond. Martinek has found a Spark Club for next year, so let's hope he can do well there. And a new Spark Club, Heelan Koo, has brought in Madzadadze and Letelier. We've had Michelson go back out on loan in Ice, and Nico Gomez is going out into Spark. Now, Nico Gomez is actually in the playoffs in Ice with the team he's on loan to at the moment. He's a wee bit older. He's just a guy I've never really had much time for because he's always been low rated and on the older side of things. I got him at 26. But he's starting to progress and, he could be alright. So just watch out for this. And it'll be interesting to see how the Spark percentages make an impact on my MFL yield in Season 5. The clauses we've got here are all quite modest, all quite fair. I don't think there's going to be too many guys failing to hit that. Boyson, Johnny TH taking on Brandt, one of our left wingers, on a 7% turn into Spark to be one of his best players. And then, friend of the channel, one of my pals I used to, I'd say pal, I used to do some coaching with, Ali Boy here, has started a club in Basildon. He's called them the Basel Dons. I love the badge and everything as well. And it was good to get back in touch with Ali. Fist bump to you if you're watching. Have a wee chat with him, a guy I've not spoke to in years at this point. Ali's definitely a guy that knows his onions, make no mistake about it. And he's picked up Poveda, German Lopez, Thomas Muller and Morel. So we've got 4 guys in Basel Dons squad this year. Logar, the goalkeeper, is away out. But as you might realise, guys, or as you might see, we have got a headline move here. Hamadan Nasser has agreed a deal in Season 5 to play for Asuncion MFC. Now, they are currently in silver, and they have got a gold promotion. So when this offer came in, I was really happy to just accept it because, number one, if they don't get promoted, they should be one of the best teams in their division again, And if they do get promoted, I'm on for 7% in gold with this guy on a contract for 15 matches. Now, it's pre-contract, so I am a little bit worried that if they get promoted, they cancel it. And this is maybe an insurance policy if they fail their playoffs. But I'm more hopeful this is an any case scenario kind of transfer for them because Nasser's fantastic statistics and whatever. And now that he's got 2 golden boots to his name, with us not getting promoted, I could not. But throughout the time I have in this guy, it's the kind of age-old thing that I hear about from everyone on MFL with a high-rated player. Do you use them and win, or do you loan them out and get the progression and get some MFL? I really do think the loaning them out for progression part is really overstated, really overrated, because Hamadan Nasser has been a key cog to my success, smashing over 100 goals in 4 seasons in the league only, never mind anything he's done in cups. Oh no, that is all, in fact. So, an absolute prolific monster. But he's got his stone golden boot, he's got his iron golden boot. We did keep him from an extra season in stone to make sure we got promoted, and I was tempted to do that again in iron, but I do want him to progress at this stage because the only thing that's improved for him over the last 4 seasons is his defence has went from 35, 36 to 38. Every other statistic hasn't moved. So what I want to happen is I want Nasser to go out, get me a little bag of MFL for his troubles, and I want him to have all green thumbs. I want him to be happy with the level of opposition he's playing, the training environment, the game time, his performances, and I want to see him break through from 84 to 85. Now, I would love for him to do that in the colours of FC Barcelona. But as we've already seen in the Iron League, he's not going to progress at this level. And for 1 season out, if I can kick him up the football pyramid, up the ladder, to get some more MFL, to get him progressing, to break into 85, I'm hoping to get promoted this year, and then I'll probably bring him back. And then we can go back on the route of getting up the divisions again. So it's a sad one. We're not going to see him back for Season 5, but we'll watch out for Hamadan Nasser returning in Season 6. And it'll be really interesting to watch how he does fare at a much higher level than where I've ever used him. He's also been super prolific for me and been a huge part of my success coming halfway through Season 1. 10 games, 25 goals. You know what I mean? Like, winning is what this game is about. It's not about maxing out your players. Yeah, maybe maxing out the MFL yield as part of the game, but ultimately the game is about winning. So We don't want to be without Hamada Nasser for too long, but as you can see, guys, we have been into the market and we have been spending our Disney dollars, the Refer a Friend program from Disney Pinnacle that we mentioned in the intro of the video. I know tons of you guys in the community already have been getting your hands on Disney dollars and been going into the market and reinforcing your squad. And for me, I've had a very clear shopping list. Last season we brought in Ritan, a goalkeeper very highly rated on 12%. He was 77 rated. So I went into the market and I've brought in an 80 rated goalkeeper. He's currently playing in the silver division, so we're really pulling him back down the food chain. He has progressed this season to being an 80 rated keeper from previously being 79 and starting his career off only 2 seasons ago actually is 76. So I'm hoping he can be a real rock in defence for us. We have a lot of German players in the squad, so I'm sure Christoph Hohmann is going to settle in to Barcelona life well. And I really do, coming into this season, season 4, with Bodnarenko, Faustino, the new goalkeeper, I really hope to be one of the best defensive performing teams in the division, and that didn't really pan out. So I'm really hoping Hohmann can help us out with that. Now, like I mentioned earlier on, we really did lack a little bit of creative spark to link defence into attack in that final furlong of matches. Now, he's only got 69 shooting, so I'm still a little bit worried that he doesn't totally fix the wrongs of last season, but with 94 pace, 80 dribbling and 81 passing, we brought in Clement Zatko. Now his primary position is left midfield, and I'm probably going to play him there a significant amount of the time, but if I play him in attacking midfield, he's actually 78 rated. So I love those guys that can play a different position and get a boost. Great versatility, but his primary position is good enough anyway. But if we play him somewhere else, we're going to get a lot more out of him. And he's a guy that's also been playing in silver to a pretty good standard as well. So a big money signing that I'm hoping on top of Hohmann here can really try and lift the level. And while I was doing this, I was thinking Hamada Nasser might actually just enjoy staying with us, training with these better players and slaying the opposition every week and really gangbuster the league. But ultimately, I'm going to stick to my guns and we'll loan Nasser out to get that bigger MFL payout and try and get him into being an 85 rated player. But after those 2 mega money moves, I went out and I tried to get some other guys that were good points per pound, good value guys, good squad players that would just keep that level high so that when we are rotating, we're not really missing out on much, or could give us some different answers to different problems as the season goes on. And we brought in Jurek Gruchowski. Now, he's currently playing a level below where I am. He's in the Stone division. But for a guy to just play left mid, for a bit of cover for Zatko, or if I play Zatko in attacking mid, a guy that can play in left mid pretty effectively. 79 pace, 71 shooting, which is important to me here. 82 passing, all these stats are great. The main things that hold him back is physical and defence, which for left mid, I'm not too concerned about. He's only 24 years of age. He'll be 25 by the time the season kicks off. And I think playing in my squad at this level, if he has progression to be gotten, we're going to get that out of him. And he's not got too much to go, by the way, before he would be potentially a 74 or 75 rated player with some improvement. And really, if you look at left midfielders, he cost me $55. For anyone that was blue, that was 75 rated or above, you're talking about an extra 50% on top of that minimum. And really, the main difference in their statistic was 80 pace. That was the number one thing. As soon as I dropped 80 pace to 79, with all the other statistics being where I wanted them to be, as you can probably see with the statistics that Jurek has here, they were all blue, they were all $70, $80, $90 minimum. And as soon as I dropped that pace from 80 to 79, this guy popped up for $55. And I thought, you know what? He's not been alive that long. I could probably get more progression out of him. And for saving $20 on someone who's got 80 pace, but maybe the same statistics, maybe slightly better physical or whatever, it just felt like good value, good bang for buck. Now, with Hamada Nasser going out, we have a bit of a void up front. We're going to play with single striker this season all the way through the year. If you've been watching the channel this year, you'll know that one of our main players, Lecoq, started season 4 off on fire. We actually thought Lecoq could have been the golden boot contender out the team. And then it kind of waned away for him because we were rotating Prado in for significant minutes. Hamada Nasser stepped up and started carrying the torch for us. But we need a backup forward. And I didn't really know what to do with this because I do want to play Lecoq all the way through the season. And I want to have someone that can rotate in once in a while to relieve him or do some cup matches, that sort of thing. I didn't want to loan a guy in because the loan situation would be like guaranteeing 15 matches, 10 matches, something like that, for 5, 6, 7, 8% MFL, which I was not willing to do. So the only two statistics I really cared about for this one was pace and shooting and physical. Physical and dribbling, I think I had them as minimum 60s, just I wanted them to be okay. But 87 pace, 81 shooting. He's 72 rated. And again, a guy that's not that old. He's only been on the game for 2 seasons. He's had a little bit of progression. And we got him for an absolute snip, $39. Again, if you compare him to anyone else available on the market, with 87 pace and 81 shooting, he was one of the best bang for buck moves we could have brought in. And on top of Bodnarenko, Faustino, I really think Massey and Gosharowski here. We've got 4 really clever buys that, the last 2 have helped us out very, very well. And I'm hoping those 2 can help us out a lot this season. As well as our other kind of squad player that we've brought in, Semyon Ivanov, who has been playing this season in Iron, the division I'm in, for Asuncion, the guy that we've loaned Hamid Al-Nasser to. It's obviously a different squad because this one's in bronze or whatever we're in. Nice pace, nice defence, nice physical. Passing and dribbling are a little bit on the low side for me, but again, quite a nominally priced guy. I've got so many other defenders that are actually quite similarly rated that I've loaned out, but they're not 72. They've not got the pace that this guy has. They're all a lot slower. Maybe that'll change with the progression they had, or they're going to get. But this was, again, just a nice squad balancing thing where we're lifting the level, we're lifting the floor on the lowest rated players we have available, and we're giving ourselves some decent rotation options that have good statistics for us to use later on. And then the final big money signing that we've made, we had Coyote Udo in on loan last year. We've played Bodnarenko at left back. I still fancy Bodnarenko as a left back, but I'm not going to get too sentimental with him coming into this season, and I just want my defence to be robust. I don't want to be conceding the amount of goals that we've seen the team was conceding in those final 5 or 6 matches. So we brought in a guy with 77 pace, 84 defence, 76 passing, 70 physical. Ticks all the boxes. Great statistics we found here. And at 26, he was the youngest, kind of most well-rounded guy in that $70 range that we could bring in, and these signings have made a significant difference to the squad. Now I'm pleased to announce we also brought in Tito Hosny back for a second season at FC Barcelona, and I'm really hoping this year we can get a little bit more out of Tito. I really want him to win that Playmaker award for being the main creator. Maybe somebody else in the team wins it, but I'd love this guy to win it because he was very effective, linked up very, very well with Nasser last year as well. 84 passing, 85 dribbling. And the progression he had in his first season with us on his overall wasn't really there, but he did get some progression elsewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, no, actually not much progression for Tito, so we're hoping he can kick on a bit this year. And then we brought in a high-value right midfielder in Leos Kolar. So I'm thinking primary position or primary formation for this season might be something like a 4-1-4-1 kind of thing. And with the players we've got, we can play the diamond shape that we played last year. We could play the diamond shape with the left mid, right mid because of the guys we have now as well. And I really like the idea of playing 4-2-3-1. And all those things, Leos Kolar at 78 rated, 82 pace, 83 dribbling, 83 passing. He feels like he's going to be a wicked winger for us at 22 years of age as well. This will be his first season in the game. This is a guy that could just pop. So quite an exciting loan to bring in. They're the only 2 players we've loaned so far. I need to bring in a backup right back, which I'm probably going to do on loan, and that's going to be us. At the moment, it says we're on 19%, but that's on the basis that we fail our criteria here, which we're not going to, so it's only going to be 11%. And if we can get another guy in at 4% as a backup right back to Casas, that will be us, job done. Maybe I buy a right back. Let's see how the Disney dollars shake out. But on the final hurdle of the season, we had our first ever tier breaker card. The guys went from being green to blue on the. I think we've had some guys go from like white to green or gold to green and that kind of thing. But we've had our first guy go from green to blue. Hanka the Tanka, Hans-Peter Hanka, and again him alongside Herbst. I would be really interested to see how well they do for defending the defence for us. His progression isn't showing. Oh no, so I've not clicked anything. But yeah, he just ticked up in the last little bit of the year there to become 75 rated. So we've got lots of quality options now, and if we look at all these guys that are available for Season 5, we're going to keep Steffens on the book. We're going to bring Fleming into the fold as well. These 2 guys we've seen last year in different places on loan and in the rotation pattern already. And really the rest of the squad will be names you're familiar with already. Guys that were here last year. Guys that have been regular, ever-present players for FC Barcelona. But this feels like the best, like if we sort by overalls, like We've not had as many blues in the squad as we do now. Very strong, very robust. And again, as I look at this, I think, let's just put Nasser back in here, but we're going to stick to that. Steffens is the lowest rated player on 68, which is an improvement on last year. We've got a much higher average now across the squad as well. And positionally, we've got 19 players here. I think we need one more to get to 20. We've got so many bases covered. And as soon as I get that last player in, and if we look at the interactive calendar, once we get Season 5 started, and once all these players move and their contracts go from being pre-contracts, which can be cancelled by either party without mutual consent, once the contract becomes official, then it needs to be, if you want to cancel it, you need the other person to agree to it. In Season 5, when that kicks off and the squad fills up and I get all those players at my disposal, it then just becomes like, how long have we got here? Like a week and a half of friendly season. We're going to be playing friendlies all the time, trying out different squads, different formations, tweaking the player instructions, tweaking the tactics, because we have a new squad, we have different players we need to learn and try and optimise, but also the game engine has iterated from Season 4 to Season 5. Again, hopefully for the better, and we want to try and work out any quirks in that we don't want to be caught out by, or anything we want to try and maximise from our current squad. And then from there, we're going to be into Season 5, guys, and it's going to be a belter. It's going to be a really big one for us, and I'm hoping this can be our most prolific season where we can score goals. And as you can see here with interactive calendar, you can see all my players that are on loan that have still got playoffs to do. We've got Herbst, maybe getting promoted from Stone to Iron, which I am already. Mooney, involved in a Stone playoff as well. Michelson, Gomez, who I mentioned before, he's in a Stone playoff and he's going to Spark next year. I might need to reconsider that. The Leoverse guys trying to get into Stone as well. And Zatko, my guy in Silver, is in a gold promotion, so he is a top of the table performer in a much higher league. So that's quite fun to see. We've got some playoffs to cheer on over the next couple of days. If any of you guys on the chat in the community here are watching the video, drop in the comment section how these games go for you so we can all see how these guys have got on. Did you seal promotion? Did it go against you at the end? Let me know. Now, if you are watching this video, depending on when it's happened, out of all the pre-contracts I've had, I did mention that I cancelled Zeller to let him go to Leoverse, and I had Mooney going into Spark, because Mooney's played for me. I love Mooney. He's been one of my favourite players. But he's played Ice, he's played Stone, he's played Iron. His progression hasn't really kicked on. He's been quite an effective player. And I thought, I don't really care where he goes. Like this year, he's just a guy to go get some MFL, and I loaned him into Spark. But seeing that he's in the Stone League, having a playoff to get back into Iron, and he's been one of the key players for this Share and Shine team, I've cancelled his Spark contract. He's back on the market, and I'm ideally looking to get him back into an Ice or a Stone team that's going to play him all the time, just so that we can see, is there progression here for Mooney? Because at the age of 25, I'm not totally giving up on him that he cannot progress and get better. But I've had a good squad around him. We've played him a lot. He's had good match ratings. He's been a key figure for us. So it's hard to imagine that he wouldn't have had some progression by now, but hey-ho, whatever. Otherwise, it feels like the rest of my players are kind of set up to go for next year already. In terms of pre-contracts that have been done, guys to sell, guys to buy, all that kind of thing. I'm just about at the end of my business to get Season 5 underway. I'm not going to be spending my MFL that I've earned this year. I could buy one of the green packs. I did that last year and I got Fleming out of it, and I wasn't too chuffed with him at the time. It might be useful for us now. Let's see how that goes. But I would rather hold on to that and maybe I will spend my MFL next season. Let's try and really boost up the bank balance, and then coming into Season 6, we won't have as many Disney dollars maybe to play around with, but maybe we're playing around with more MFL to open up some packs and do some stuff like that. On screen now is the Disney dollars video that I mentioned before, as well as a bunch of other stuff that I've made that the YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content like this, guys, and let me know your thoughts and feelings on the squad construction that I've done here. Do you think that we can win the division? That's really what I want to do. We've been promoted enough times. We've had some cup success as well, and that's another thing I meant to add into the video is, normally the cups, we kind of write them off. This year, I would hope I can take the cups in a bit more of a stride and maybe try and get out the group stage. But do you think we're going to win the division with this team? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Always excited to check them out. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.